All right, welcome back to Road True Experience Show. This man is a person I just met literally last month. So he is he's a founder of Greyson Scholars, a program that geared towards young people thriving outside, both inside the classroom. He is a graduate of St. Benedict's Prep in Boston College. I'm not the person about that experience. And he has a master's degree in arts education and developmental psychology. That's welcome, Mr. Khalif Jackson. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yes, like I said, we just met about April. I think around April. So I had man talk.
Yeah.
That first Sunday in April, he kind of annoyed. He told my LinkedIn because I'm ready to promote that on LinkedIn. So I was like, he got on.
I just happened to find you, bro, and I felt like you're doing something.
Yeah. So
people need. So I made sure.
So let's get back. So were you originally born and raised in New Jersey?
I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. Yeah. High school, elementary school, and then I went to college for 6 years. 4 years undergrad, stayed at Boston College, got my master's there, came back to Jersey, was there for 2012 to 20, damn, that's crazy. I was there for 5 years. In 2017, relocated, my wife and I got engaged. She's also from Newark, but she had been out here for about 5 years prior. We weren't in a relationship at that time, so just happened to, in 2017, we got in a relationship, got engaged, knew what I wanted, and the rest is history. I've been out in PA ever since.
Oh, so you're in PA now?
I'm in Philly now. I'm outside of Philly now. I'm just outside of King of Pressure, but I'm from Jersey originally, yes. But
you said North Jersey? You said North Jersey or Newark?
Newark.
Newark Jersey.
Yeah, like right. Everybody.
That's far New York.
Everybody always default to New York. Yes.
Yeah.
Newark. Everybody knows where Newark is because of the airport, but crime and whatever is doing better as a city. But
right. And this is name from there. The fighter.
Shakur Stevens.
Yeah. So
and Shaq and me. So
three people. So and also what's the name?
Latifah.
From Newark,
Queen Latifah. It's a handful of people. From Newark. Ironically, Bam Adebayo was born there. Found out.
Wow.
What's the other dude name that played for the Heat? Hassan Whiteside.
Wow.
It's a handful of people from the cloth.
How far is that from New York?
Something like 15 minutes.
Oh, right. Okay.
They say Jersey, at least North Jersey, like where we are, you closer to New York than New York is. It's like it's boroughs in New York that take you a really long time. Everybody want to go to Manhattan or everybody want to go to Brooklyn. Like if you live in Newark, whether you catch the train or you drive, you could be into all the spots you need to be into between like 15, 20.
Right. Yeah, so you went to Boston College.
Right.
Why did you go there and what did you live near Boston? It was Boston what you were told about Boston. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So long story short, man, I knew that my grades were, formidable, really good grades. I aspired to play basketball. I wasn't as good as I like to have been. I was pretty good, but St. Benedict's is a world-renowned sports and education school. So I went there just on the humble of from 8th grade to high school. This is where I want to go.
Right.
They recruit all around the world, so I was gonna play my way up, through the ranks, as I did. By the time I get to about end of junior year, senior year, I'm already realizing like, all right, I'm not gonna play as much as I would like to play. And a lot of the players that are playing need basketball more than I do. Right. And it's like, I'm not going to go to a school for basketball if I'm not playing as much as I would like, and I don't need it to get the education that I know I can get. So I decided my senior year, like, look, I'm not going to play my senior year. I'm going to just focus on my grades, keep this job. And if I get to college and want to play, walk on and try my chances. So
right.
Ironically, I wanted to go to Georgetown. Only reason I wanted to go to Georgetown was because Allen Iverson is my favorite player of all time.
Okay,
and I had, this is literally how I see it. I'm a first generation college student, so I knew that I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know too much about it besides I know if I want to be successful, this is the step I need to take. So I think either I didn't get in or waitlisted. I forget which one it was. I probably didn't get in. But I was trying to figure out my schools and where I wanted to go. I got a few denial letters, unfortunately. I guess that picking a school that you should choose, like a safe school, the school that is kind of like right in between and your reach schools, I probably did a lot more of the reach school type things. And my English professor at the time just recommended it to me, like, look, I graduated there. It's a good school for you. I think that you should apply. And when you go, make sure you meet this person, that person, this person. So I'm like, all right, I'll apply. I applied, went there they have this thing called Black Family Weekend. Went there for Black Family Weekend. And I'm one of the, as a kid or as a young man, path of least resistance, I just felt like it just made sense for me to choose something that was a little familiar to me. And I had a great time. Black Family Weekend, met with one of my guys. He was the best man at my wedding.
Oh, wow.
We didn't talk to each other all of high school. He was there a year before me and got the Black Family Weekend for Boston College. And he was my host. And ever since then, he went to Benedict's with me. We didn't talk all of high school. Got there my perspective year. We linked up, and then since then, because of the time that he showed me, just the love and being there, I'm like, all right, this is where I would go. And I made that decision just on the people that I met at that time, and I just felt like it was a thing to do. So, the rest is history.
So I know it's not in Boston, but what is like? I think
it's Chestnut Hill. It's in Newton, so
it's near Boston.
It's like 15 minutes from Boston, because you know how you have you have Philly, and then you have the area, like people think that aren't from Philly, you know what I mean? Yeah, like Abington. That's not Philly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like that. It's like that with Boston. So we were in like literally the most affluent part.
Oh, okay.
It's not Boston. It's Newton. It's a whole other city. It's like the number 2 safest city in the country. Wow. It's probably the number 2 or top 5 most wealthy cities, in the country. So you could catch the Green Line in about 15 minutes. You'll be downtown Boston, shopping area type stuff. Allergies kill me. But it was an experience. It's like Boston University is in the city, like on Commonwealth Avenue, the buildings. Boston University is like the equivalent to what Temple is for us in the city. Gotcha. Whereas when you go to Boston College, you go all the way up, and that's one of.
So it's kind of like Villanova. Like Villanova.
Yeah, exactly. Because UPenn is like all the way up. Yeah. So it's like Villanova, but it was an experience, and it's so what you were alluding to in terms of like Boston being like, it's like that. It is for sure like that. Yeah. All the things that the athletes say and what the fans can be like.
Okay. They're very passionate.
Passionate is a good word to use. They're very passionate. Yeah.
So they're like Philly passionate, but I can tell.
Philly is different. Philly is gritty. Boston has a mix of very, very gritty, and then also very they have this sense of like, you're more prestigious. We're more prestigious than you are. It's a good mix of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got your master's. So now you work at a charter school.
Yes.
Right? So you're like the principal. You're the dean. Or?
No, I'm not a dean. And ironically, I was just saying this. A lot of times, unfortunately, for whatever reason, in a lot of our experiences, I mean like Black folks, we're always subject to discipline or
no, I wasn't saying negative.
I know. I'm just saying it's funny that you thought that because that's really usually you know what it is. But I'm just I'm a 6th grade math teacher.
Oh,
sixth grade math
finish
teacher.
something, man.
Yeah.
Finish something, man. Middle school, 6th grade math. So you teach where math me what?
That's Grove, Cleveland. So I'm right.
Oh, Philly.
Yeah, no Philly.
Oh, wait, you there with that lady, that teacher?
Which teacher? Oh. That was you gonna do this to me. She was my mentor. She
oh, you serious? Yeah, that teacher.
Yeah.
Wow.
We still
wow.
we still pushing through with that one. But yeah.
How was that for y'all? Like
it was.
Well, she was there teaching there currently, or she left?
Yes, she was there.
God, for the kids, man.
For
wow.
the kids, for us, yeah. That was hard, man. That was really hard. She. When I got there, she was my appointed mentor. I was only there for 2 years. She was my appointed mentor. She was everybody's like mentor if they were new to the school. Just like that last year, I was new to the school.
Oh, so they assigned you a mentor.
Everything that you could see from either the pictures or anything that you've seen in any of the press, beautiful soul that still hurts me to like. Just think about making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for my son like the day or two after. I just break down because I'm like, this happened so randomly on a day when she was on her way to work, and I'm still in the process. We're still in the process of agreeing with that.
Is it crazy? I'm like, the same thing got with that lady. Is that because I actually worked at Cleveland before they turned Max from Charlie.
Oh, got it. About 10 years back.
Yeah, right. I also worked at EW, at Cleveland. Okay. But that was before they changed when Charlie. I was there the whole year there. So that's so real, man. So middle school, man, that's powerful, man.
Yeah, bless her.
I got connect for you too, for you to use too.
Oh, perfect.
Not
in related to that. I know what you mean.
Not now, but in terms of maybe for next year. I met because I'm playing this for the summer.
For sure.
So you started Greyson Scholars. Yes. So what is that program and how did you get your name, Greyson Scholars?
So I'm gonna give you the as fast as I can version of leading up to that. So I always knew I wanted to do mentoring from, ironically, when my high school teacher at the time told me, meet this guy, Dan Bunch, when I go up there. So he's like the forefather of any black young man or woman who comes through BC. Wow. And he holds it down. So I go there, I get a part of this this group called Dedicated Intellectuals of the People. He had this in his trio program. So we would have like mentor conversation meetings every Wednesday. Just us, me, him, a bunch of just other, young men on the campus. So I was like, I always knew in college, this is necessary for us outside in the world, whether it be in high school settings, elementary school settings, or people who are just not in school. So I was always trying to figure out what could I do to kind of create that. Of course, I wanted to make a living. So probably like, I guess at this point, 5-7 years out of school, I'm like, all right, it's time. I need to get with it and just make this happen. So it originally started with me having the idea of this mentoring program called Brick City in BC, because they call Newark Brick City. Right. You know what I mean? And BC is, the school. And then, I was going to play on words with BC could be anything, like beyond college, whatever the case may be. Right. So I was sticking with that. At the time, my wife and I were engaged. And we both were under the impression, like, it seems more like an initiative than like we wanted it to feel all encompassing. At the time, we just engaged. We didn't have our son yet and everything. So we have Greyson in 2020. And
during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, yeah. So
what?
Yeah. So everybody had their
No. You had like when in the fall or in the midst of it?
He was born. Well, he. This was going on prior to the pandemic, but he was born in January. So before the pandemic thank God. Yeah. So before the pandemic actually hit was when he was born. He was born January
January what?
7th. So the pandemic literally hit. Okay. The pandemic literally hit like a few months.
My wife's birthday is January 6th.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you, was he born January 26th?
Oh no.
Kobe died.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I completely. You really throwing me back because I completely forgot. Like around the time where that happened, I was just into the motions of like fatherhood. So yeah, that hurt too.
That was a month before the pandemic.
But yeah,
that was 1 month, man.
So as far as like when he was born, from BC, from Brick City to BC, I'm like, need something that is going to be more universal. It's something that people can gravitate towards that doesn't feel. It felt exactly what the name suggests. It felt hard, you know what I mean? And I get that grit that we have, and that I wanted, but I wanted to appeal to people who didn't necessarily grow up in Newark. I definitely want to get people who need that, and I'm going to continue to work with those individuals, young, old, indifferent. But Brick City to BC felt very, very tight cast, you know what I mean? Yeah. And after my wife and I sat on it, she actually came up with the name, like, we should do something around Greyson. And then we kept playing with names, and Greyson Scholars just hit. And when we said it, I was like, that's it. And since then, I was, got all the paperwork going. And
so y'all are the organization, LLC?
It's a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit. Okay. So officially, here's the promotion, the blurb, the tagline that we make sure so no one forgets. Greyson Scholars is a nonprofit organization that is geared towards helping children and young adults bridge the gap between social and emotional development and academic enrichment.
Okay. Yeah. So is that in your school? You work at now?
I'm trying to bring that in. So as a teacher, I mean, I try to marry the two together because I want my students to do well. And I tell my students all the time, I'm more than just your teacher. I am your mentor. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you see me as just your teacher, it's hard to build that rapport. And it's still hard to build that rapport no matter what. But I infuse it into the school as best I can. And
doing giveaways. But it's great. The transition from elementary for
tell me about it.
I went through that. Plus they do environment. I totally understand. And then plus, I think what you're doing is awesome to have black male, a teacher, man, a math teacher. They're gonna probably do well. That's probably the best class. I mean, like
working on it. We're working on it.
I mean, like, So have you done programs in the summer before, or during the year?
So something like it. So in the past, when I was at a small Catholic school in Norristown, I, for the most part, just fee-for-service type of academic enrichment in the summer. I wanted to do programs and things of that nature, but it takes a lot of you got to do the work beforehand. You know what I mean? Just like a lot of jobs, schools, or organizations have been built and formidable. Operations calendar, and I'm just getting into like zeroing that down like this year. Did all the work that I needed to do like 2020, 2021 with like it being an official entity and all the paperwork. But like now that I have all that done, it's like applying for grants, having an operations calendar, and getting things out 2-3 months in advance so that I could try to find the funding. And right now I'm in the process of trying to get enrollment for summer enrichment. I'll do it like 3 days a week. So the fee for service for that is $75 for 3 weeks. I mean, $75 for 3 days a week, where we're doing enrichment for about 30 minutes. But I know that being where we are, a lot of us are not at don't have the opportunity to fund our education for additional resources or because of lack of resources. So this is why I've been trying to fundraise and do things.
Do you know where it's going to be at?
Virtual for a portion, and I'm trying to find a location that would be serviceable for my schedule with my kids. And
so what's the target location? What's the age group?
Age group is elementary and high school. So For the most part, as an elementary school teacher, it's a lot easier for me to make sure the information and the skills that I'm giving them is transferable directly. Yeah. But having a college degree in education, clearly, we can still make sure that academic enrichment is happening for, high school. I just need to know where the deficiencies are. So
because well, I meant for the grant, I'm thinking about applying to for youth 14 to 26. So.
Got it. And I'm also in the process of working on that right now. I'm collaborating with a former student's parent, where I am going to but I'm working on getting contract work so that I can talk to youth and young adults who are trying to reintegrate themselves back into society from juvenile detention centers and things of that nature. Okay. So that's like a brick city,
right.
DC side of it, where it's like, yes, Greyson Scholars, or we're dealing with students who, want to do academic and scholarly work. Yes, we want to mentor, kids who have it together, and whether they have, families or not, but we definitely want to get to these kids in the inner city who need that love that don't
right. Because I'm trying to like I said, we're gonna try to do some work back together for the summer, because
for sure.
That a lot of people need to know about this stuff. So so you do work virtually. You do that throughout the year, or
essentially throughout the year, as I try to because
I'm trying to be a resource for organizations for those who work. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. So as a teacher, I have access to the school building. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm in the building. When I'm in the building during business hours, and after that, because of how young my children are, I'm capped at spending any additional time after school at the location. But that doesn't stop me from saying I am working with the kids that either want to or need the work, in the sense that if it's not me talking to some of my kids, it's, hey, let's get online at this time to, you know what I mean? And if it's a quick check-in, cool. But other than that, it's kids and families that I'm trying to reach out to that do have the resources to say, I want tutoring, and what are your rates? And I'm doing that. And when I can, we could meet up and do that. But
especially the summertime, because a lot of them, summertime.
I need that extra work.
I definitely go refer you to my because my site summer is going to be academic. Right. So like all the kids in my program, they got to go for academic summer learning. So, and from stories I heard, there's like parents told me that I work with this shit, like they were like, summer learning was horrible last year. It was horrible. So I'm trying to get the parents resources. Hey, Mr. Jackson had this resource for enrichment for the summer. He get that. It's summertime is like 8 weeks, but it's a long time.
It's a long time.
But it go by fast.
Yeah.
But a lot of kids dip off.
They dip off bad.
They that's like keep them sharp for the summer. Now you got to need some enrichment. You know what I mean?
The tangent. The system is not helping these kids. As a teacher, I'm realizing, and we knew that. We knew that coming in as just like who we are, color, race, religion, indifferent. Like just how the system is built. Like the whole concept of the No Child Left Behind, right? I'm thinking of, as a teacher now, I'm telling you, no, some children don't need to be left behind in the sense that forget about them. Some children, if they are not getting it, keep them where they are and work with what they have, so that when you push them forward, you're not just pushing them forward to say, go into the system, have your reading levels or math levels low, so your comprehension skills are low, so that we can just feed this pipeline to prison. Don't leave them behind in that way. Right. But they're actually doing that when they're just pushing them forward without giving them the skills that they need to move on. So when they created the concept of No Child Left Behind, in reality, they were just saying, don't keep the kid back, move them on, whether they know it or not. And in reality, if they don't understand some things, there needs to be some real button down explanation or plan for when they are not understanding what is it that we're going to do to equip these kids with the ability to get as close to grade level as possible. Because it's ridiculous how many kids are not on grade level.
Yeah,
and it's not the fault of the teachers.
Right.
And I can't necessarily blame the parents either. It's like we know this is happening legislatively. So
yeah,
it's like, what are we doing?
That's why I'm trying to like for the summertime, man, for my school program. Like I'm telling you, that Richmond part, the fun part. My kids are gonna have they'll be worn out. They're doing dance, soccer, all, and I bring people that look like us to.
Yeah. Yes.
I bring them in,
representation.
So I'm trying to bring people that look like us to do that. I might have you on. I gotta see how we're gonna.
Let me know.
I had a fun before I see how to bring book you in a couple sessions.
For sure. Let me know.
Yeah, because I really want these. I have older kids. I older kids, so we're gonna bring them more to make sure that I'm trying to build like a village.
Yeah. That's what it takes. Takes a village.
The kids be on the same page from day one.
Takes a village.
You know, from day one. I know the school part. You in the school part. Yeah. The damn part. But in trying to afford, you gonna have fun. We gonna when the parents get their kids, their kids be worn out. They be worn out. They be worn out. So we're gonna have fun this summer. That's the whole thing. So this is a great conversation about. So what's next for you? Besides the work you're doing.
Honestly, this is me jumping out of faith. I want to teach purely from passion right now. We all are in a position where whatever we do, whatever career orientation we have, we are hopefully passionate about it. Not all of us are. We just have to pay the bills. But on top of being passionate, that always comes down to the other end of having to take care of your family and your responsibilities. I want to get to a point where if I'm in anybody's school building in a paid capacity as a teacher and educator, I want that to be an option for me. Right now, it's not an option because I need to make a living.
Right.
And I also am passionate. But I want to get to the point where I'm only doing that on passion because of how successful, Greyson Scholars is. And I'm getting to the point where, like, my leap, me putting it into the universe, I asked God for it in 2023, the start of the year, was me having the option of saying, you know what? Come next school year, I want to hopefully say things are going so well, I have to really weigh whether or not I'm going back to teach. Not because I don't love the kids, and yes, this job can be, challenging and stressful, but not because of that, but because of how much more I have to give to this program. And I feel like what I can give in that capacity is what the kids need more, because as someone working in a school, a kid is just a kid, and a kid is going to see you as that role that you're in. They don't understand that you have family at home. You have all these other interests. Mr. Jackson is just their math teacher. I can tell you I love you all day. I could talk to you about life. I can do all these things, but I'm just in your class to do math. You know what I mean? Versus if Mr. Howard or Mr. Levon or Mr. Shepard or Miss Jackson comes and they don't work in that school and they're coming to talk to you or pour life into you, that goes way further for a kid than this person who they see every day telling them to stay in their seat, you're going to have detention. You know what I mean?
My program, see, you're
Right. They need that.
I got people for that. So it's something like life development, skills development. Because we do workshops that's outside academics.
Right.
We don't talk about math, reading, science. We talk about like mental health. We talk about financial literacy. We talk about forgiveness. We talk about self-care, affirmation. We talk about relationships, friendships.
Love that.
Because stuff that affect the academics, because we're not teachers, and we're not going to teach how to do this, but we are trying to teach them, give them strategy to certain things so you can do the academic. If you let go of some of the issues and let go.
We're on the same time. That's my goal for. Like, I would rather be in a position to do that because if we're doing that together, then we could help the person that is like me in the classroom, because I'm echoing the sentiments of your teacher or your parents, but I'm not your teacher or your parent. So I can only make it easier easier for your parent or your teacher because I'm that other person in the village that's telling you, listen to what they're telling you to do.
Especially someone that looks like you.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, you want it.
Like I said, we trying to get, like I said, I'm trying to get funding more staff so I can get more people to lead their positions and do this full time, be in different schools every day. Like, be in the morning afternoon, you be done by 3 o'clock. Like teacher, you doing something else. You know, so that's something I'm trying to get that too. Like I said, I've been in this job 2 months now, so I'm trying to feed a window, trying to get other things established. You know, so my wife's full-time entrepreneur. She had a job, left it after 7 years because she worked from home. They were in the office. Then the pandemic, they went from home. They gave her all the stuff that she needed. You know, the last month, she was miserable. Like
I heard you do more work at home in the pandemic than you were in the actual office. That's what everybody said. Even as a teacher, it was like
she was miserable. Like there were certain days like she had to be at a computer by 8, whatever it was upstairs. She get up 7:55 to be there by. I'm like, I know she was miserable because before she would get like 17, you know. But she got to the point like it was burned out, but she does hair. So that'll take she had like one client. That'll take maybe sometimes like all night. And then she would leave like 4:30. Then she was like, I can't do it anymore. And then she left September. And this meeting, I was like, I mean, like I said, I will tell her to do it. I was like, look, I don't want you to be miserable. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Our bills still being paid. You know what I mean? So she's doing better. I'm doing better myself. Trying to get this job together and just trying to elevate. See how it goes. Paragraders is doing well. I'm just trying to get more people, get the clearances, all that stuff, and then I can have stable people. Like I can go to schools and have them get compensated maybe for 1 or 2 hours and still work their job. You know what I'm saying? But that's our goal is to be solid and tenured. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. So like you said, you're a father, you're a husband, entrepreneur, you're an educator. I'm an educator, not educator. Question. Have you went to those black male things educated by
Yes, downtown,
amazing. So
honestly, quick story on that. So I left that thing feeling so empowered that I got back to my position. Like, man, I can't do this anymore. And it felt like not because it was so hard, but they told me, like, they said with all of the black men that we had in that place and those powerful and having those messages, like it's like just like being a man of God. You have it on your shirt. I'm a man of God. More stories on that.
I'm trying to go
you know what I mean?
I'm trying to go there this year, but I'm just kidding. Open up for at a school director, site director, or male. You know
but they were saying the job that we are called to do, and when we know we're doing it right, there's going to be a lot of resistance on when you're doing that, and the people who are in the position to not necessarily make you fail, but there is how things are supposed to go, and there is how things should be. And there's oftentimes, if you're a fire starter, and if you're a person of God, and if you can see what something needs and you want to step into that, when you do that, a lot of times there's a lot of resistance that comes with that because it's not the way the system is expecting you to do it. So when you are trying to step out on faith and do what needs to be done, a lot of resistance happening, or there are a lot of roadblocks. Even for instance, I saw your post. You had a nice lengthy soliloquy on men need to step up. I don't know how many people saw it. It was like probably 1 or 2 likes, and it was 1 like. I know I was one of those likes, but I heard what you were saying, and it's like, you're on it, and it don't matter if 1 person saw it, 2 people saw it, or 1,000 people saw it. That's the resistance that I'm talking about, though.
I feel like it's there, but it's like if we had more people, oh my God, because now I'm doing man. I'm like, I said at the beginning 23. I mean, at first I was like, you a man talking in a school.
Yeah.
This is charter school. I'm paying in North Philly. I was to work there.
Yeah.
Worked there 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I did a pedagogy session, I think, with this is for Mike got on. Mike was working. Every time I had the program, we working at the time. So it was me, a couple of people.
Yeah.
The kids loved it, like doing their power and stuff.
It was like, why wouldn't you do this again?
They loved it. And the kids, they were like, whoa, they saw me in suit. I was a safety monitor.
Right.
So,
right.
I did, I did the kind of job. I mean, I was saying doing all that stuff, but it was like, when I saw they told me, they were like, oh, okay, like, all right, what's this about?
So you should get behind. Something you should keep doing.
Right. So I finally got to come to the guy and the teacher at the time. Now he's the principal.
Right.
I've been training this guy for 2 years to get this program in school. So finally got it. So he's like, oh, now okay, all right, but now we do something for men. I was like, okay, got it. Right. So I said the thing. He was like, we finally got started. So we started. April. So we had 2 sessions. So like one at 12 on Tuesday, one at 3.
Yeah.
Because 2 different groups of men. So he is like really loves to be trying to expand next year. Now I'm trying to do a girls program next year. Just for young ladies there. Just something for those who maybe had a day off or something that can get some extra money. You know what I mean? Extra right now. So but like I said, really be like a lot of times people don't find opportunity. Like if I get an opportunity, like go after it. Go after it. You go ask questions. It's not don't ignore it.
Right.
Yeah, but like I said,
beyond opportunity though, like if there's a call for action that we need, and we see this a lot. Like when it comes to activism, when it comes to a lot of things happening. Like the kids need us, the youth need us. We want to do things for the youth. We want to do things for the culture. And there are times where there's a movement like yours, whatever it is that I'm trying to do with Greyson Scholars, that, you're not begging anybody for help. I'm not begging anyone for help, but it's like people who say there are things that we could actively do or things that exist out here that either you expressed interest to or said something about, but when it's time to act, or when you gave someone your word that you're going to do something, and then it's like, I saw that, you know what I mean? Like, how would that make you feel, knowing that I told you I would be here, you know what I mean? And then, and a lot of times, but I don't understand why people don't understand that. Right. And even if you're not going to have your word, at least have some level of, at least have some professionalism about it. You know what I mean?
Say I can't be there. All spread the word saying, hey, I can't make it before there's someone else.
That's all. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. So like I said, I love the black men thing that you go to. And I told them, I asked them for 1 year, get the guy from Elementary to come.
Oh, wow.
Tyler just come because he's like educated. I'm like, okay, and I love that show. So I had them come talk to them about, and then how they like how he created a little black male t-shirt in Philly. I mean that I'm telling you, that will get a lot of people come out like that. I'll say get the whole cast out there, but I mean, but that's my favorite shows. I love the past 2 years. That's my favorite shows.
I gotta catch up on season 2.
Yeah. Like just the whole, it's like it was something different. It's not like they try to laugh, but it's like it's funny because like that's Philly. Like you can tell, but like I said, I love that show. I hope I wanted to get the Taj Rick out there to talk to them. You know, that's to talk about that whole piece of being a black male teacher. Right. So and also, what do you do with self-care?
Ooh, good one. So a lot of times for self-care nowadays, not that I haven't done it in the past, but pray every day. Pray every day. I made it an intention to be more of a spiritual leader in my family. So when I wake up and my children are up and my wife is getting them ready and I'll make my son breakfast or whatever before I leave out the house, we say a prayer as a family. I pray with my son before I read him the Bible at night. I try to make sure I'm doing that. The goal is to finish the Bible this year, be more of a spiritual leader. But beyond that, just I have a really, really good relationship with my dad. So it makes things a lot easier to. I'm not opposed to therapy at all. I don't have a therapist, or I don't have anyone that I talk to. But if I needed to, or if I was willing to pay for it at the time, I do it. So if I had to do it, I would. I encourage that. Yeah. But because I have a dad in my life, and we talk about just life and God and family, that is therapy, whether y'all know it or not. I have some homeboys who I'm really tied in with since some from college, some from high school. The ones from college, we speak almost at least in a group chat like once a week at least. Okay. But self-care is and always will be making sure that you know you are not alone. Outside of that, just having a loving relationship, you know what I mean, with my wife, besides being and praying to God, having that friendship with her, that's really, really good self-care for me. So just knowing that I am making her feel loved, knowing that I am receiving her love in some way, shape, or form from the conversations that we have, from, checking in with each other, seeing how we're doing. I like to read from time to time. Can't do that as much as I would like because, of work. Yeah. But those the biggest things, making sure you have a relationship with God first, checking in with yourself and knowing that you don't have to go through anything on your own. As I mentioned, having a good relationship with my dad, my relationship with my wife, my kids. I have, friends, a circle. And then outside of that, what I want to be a lot more intentional about this year is just health and fitness, and giving myself that time to I give myself at least 30 minutes daily of whether it is walk, run, exercise, something of those lines. But those 3 wellness wheels of, God, knowing you have support, and, physical activity, I think you can't go wrong with those. And if ever, you need a therapist, or you need someone that you need to talk to because you have a lot of toxicity in your family, see someone or talk to someone. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like as Black men, something needs to be said, because a lot of us think that mental health is not real, and a lot of our mental problems come from either the environment that we grew up in or the family that we have. And no shade to any of our family members, but we come from some really crazy situations at times. Right. And the people in your life can't help you in that regard sometimes. So talk to somebody if you need to. So
What advice would you say to the young Khalif Jackson?
That's a good one. I've never heard this question before. As common as this question is, I would say trust yourself, bet on yourself, and if you keep God first, there is nothing that you cannot get through. Anything that you can imagine, anything that you want for yourself, you could do or go and make happen. If I could tell myself that and hear that I'm bringing that message back to my younger self, I would be like, all right, let's go. I'm going to do this now instead of waiting a few, you know what I mean? So, everything you can imagine is real. And, with God on your side and support, there's nothing that you can't do. So,
Last question. Mm-hmm. Where people will find more information about you and Greyson Scholars?
Fortunately, we just finalized our website, GreysonScholars.org. A lot easier to remember than I had a web page that I created with a Google web page. You gotta send that out with a link. It's a lot backslash this, that, and there. So it was working. Now we have GreysonScholars.org. You can look that up. GREYSON Scholars.org. Also have Instagram at Greyson Scholars. That just, has some pictures here and there, but GreysonScholars.org has a lot of, the about me and, my wife, Founders, what we try to do. But other than that, once you go on the website, reach out to me. Email GreysonScholars@gmail.com. Anything that you want to know, any help that you might need, whatever you could think of that you think that I or anyone that I know could do for you, I'm here for the cause. So just reach out to me however you can. I am approachable, and I just pride myself on being super responsive.
Right.
You
And
know,
I appreciate that too. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us, and thank God for this connection we have made
for sure.
past month, because we can see the build on that. Because we're here for the same thing, for our young people to win. You know what I mean? So that's something that I'm very important on, just around some people that are like-minded, and that's rare these days, and that sees me and feels me, understands me. Like that's good. So like I said, enjoy the rest of the day. Tell you about her Mother's Day to her.
For sure,
you know, it knows every day. Every day. You know, just acknowledge that. You know, because moms are a blessing. You know, being a mom's a blessing. So like I said, thank you so much for being what you are to our community. An educator to young people, just a leader. Appreciate that. So, thank you so much for joining us, y'all. For a little long, but we'll be back next Sunday. Like I said, hey, Mother's Day to everyone.
Mother's Day to
and
all the mothers.
enjoy the rest of the weekend. And be safe out here.
All right.